If you like the video, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
What is the best camera for video recording? Now, it might sound kind of weird to say video recording, don't you mean YouTube, video production, videography, filmmaking, and whatnot? Well, the reason why I'm saying video recording is because I'm not talking in this video about any specific use case. I'm talking about how to look at the broad view of all the types of video cameras out there and how to look at them in such a way where it can help you figure out what's the right camera for your use case, or if you need to upgrade to a new camera, what's going to work for how you use video and how you shoot video and how you produce video. So welcome to Pull My Focus, Adventures in the World of Digital Filmmaking, where we give you the inside tips you need to make great video. There are a ton of different types of video cameras out there. Back in the film day, there were very few limited types of film cameras, but with video, I don't even know how many there are total, but there are a lot. Now, that's a great thing because we have choices, but it also means making that choice can be a little bit more difficult. We're going to start at the low end, and that is camcorders. You know, they're still useful today. There are some clients that, given their budget, that's what we actually recommended. The thing with camcorders is very limited on the type of audio you can input, and also, you know, the lenses are locked in, and some of them it's a bit tough to even figure out how to get them into manual mode. So most camcorders today do have HDMI out, so they can be pretty good for going in for streaming. Manu uses a bunch of camcorders in a custom rig he built that fits over pinball machines, and he uses it for his Twitch stream where he plays on a custom table that he built, and also for competitions that he covers at times. Pinball, yeah, it's a thing.
Oh yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, and when I say spectrum, I'm talking price at this point, is we have the motion picture cameras, I'm gonna call them, the Arri Alexa. These cameras I'm gonna push out of our discussion. They're obviously amazing, but they're super expensive. Just renting an Arri Alexa for a week, you could buy a DSLR camera. And hey, I'm not saying don't go for it. I have friends who have rented them for their own productions, their short films and all that. And I would love to play with an Arri Alexa. That would be awesome. But for our viewers, we're gonna stick to what's in the center. The first are DSLRs, so it's digital single lens reflex. So basically, DSLRs are still cameras that record video. Canon started this back in 2005, and it definitely revolutionized videography. Because now you have the form factor of a still camera that you can use to shoot video with. They're lightweight. You can run and gun to a certain degree with them and actually get shots where people don't know that you're actually shooting video. You know, if you're sneaking shots on the subway and certain other places where you wanna, you know, not draw attention or have people looking at you because, you know, you're a film crew. They fit on handheld gyro gimbals, which is fantastic, which means you can walk around and get basically an amazing Steadicam shot with a camera the size of a still camera. For some people, their lightweight and shape is actually a bit of a detriment. If you're going handheld, you're not using a stabilizer, you pretty much need to get a cage to put it in so that you can hold it that way, the way you would a traditional video camera. You know, they're also limited to only shooting 30 minutes at a time. Now, if you're doing filmmaking and certain types of content creation, why would you need to shoot that long? But for other uses, you definitely need to, like shooting at a conference, where most of the sessions are going to be at least an hour long, right? If you're doing corporate gigs like that, or shooting documentaries and you've got an interview and it's going and it's going and you're getting gold out of it. You're not going to stop all of a sudden at 30 minutes. Another thing about most DSLRs, not all, but their ISO, their native ISO, usually falls around 200, it seems, 200 ISO, which means they're not always going to be great in low light levels. But I mean, we have a Canon 5D, we have 70Ds as well, but the 5D is a full frame camera and it's fantastic and it works with all of our lenses. So now we're in the realm of the professional video cameras. And I break these up into two categories, live and studio. So what do I mean by that? Live is cameras like the C100, for example, or C300 or the Sony SF7, where when you buy them, they're pretty much ready to go. You don't have to buy a ton of accessories. With a tripod, monopod, shotgun microphone, wireless mics, you're ready to go out and shoot whatever you need to. Corporate videos, news and whatnot. There was a thing we called ENG back in the day, maybe they still use that term today, electronic news gathering, where you run and you shoot and it goes up to broadcast that day. The C300 and the Sony, they both output the exact specs that are a standard for broadcast. So it's just ready to go, nothing else you really need to do to it. So these are also great cameras for documentaries, run and gun shooting. You know, you're running around shooting a lot of B-roll. For instance, when I do gigs for some corporate clients where they're at a conference, I've got my monopod, my shotgun mic, my wireless on them, and I'm following them around, shooting their sessions, shooting B-roll, and I'm getting everything I need. And on the C100, I've got 2 SD cards that each can record probably, I believe it's over 10 hours each. So you can just do a lot with these cameras, and you can be, if you need to, a one-man band. Now they can also do narrative and other stuff. Film Riot shoot a lot. I think they used to do a C100. I think they're using a 300 now. But they, you know, do really beautiful cinematic-looking type work. I mean, if you don't watch Film Riot, definitely watch them. They're just amazing YouTube channel. These cameras also have a lot of extra bells and whistles that, from a professional standpoint, really make a difference. Built-in ND filters. So instead of having to screw on filters, if I'm running and gunning and I'm going from inside to outside on a bright sunny day, I can just dial in ND filters that are right behind the lens and make all of my adjustments very quickly. Different types of audio inputs. With the C100, on the handle I have 2 XLR inputs. For those channels, it's got built-in mics as well. So this allows me to use that shotgun in one channel and also use a wireless that I have on my client or whoever planted somewhere coming into the camera, and it's all recorded together with the video. They also have multiple buttons that are either pre-programmed or you program yourself to do various things you need to do when you're, you know, again, shooting on the fly. To be able to quickly make adjustments to white balance, to use features like peaking that allow you to be able to see the range of focus you have in the image. Some of the cons is, compared to say the DSLRs, is these guys are a little heavier. Enough so that I can't fit the C100 on a handheld. I've been on shoots where we'll use the C100 as our A camera, but then when we need to get close shots that are moving, we'll use the 5D, or we'll even use the GH5 on a handheld gimbal to just fly across the products or whatever it is that we're shooting that day. We find that having a DSLR, that format, and having a live camera, the C100, on set at the same time are super helpful. Another great thing about these cameras is their native ISO is pretty high. For the C100, it's 850. Right there, that's 2 stops higher than most of the DSLR cameras. These cameras are great for shooting in low light situations, conferences, showrooms, whatnot, where there may not be a lot of light and you're not able to bring in and augment any of it. And they have a great dynamic range. We find it's really hard with well-exposed footage to crush those blacks. Now the next step up from these cameras are what we refer to as the studio cameras. We call them that because these cameras, like the Red Epic and the Ursa Mini Pro, these are cameras that right out of the box aren't really ready to go. You need to get sets of accessories that sort of fit your use case. And it adds a bit more to the price, but it's worth it for these type of cameras if these are ones that you need. They're great for narrative work, for studio work. You're not going to run and gun with these kind of cameras. You can try, it's going to be a bit crazy. These cameras are recording RAW or ProRes 422 10-bit. So you're getting tons of data that you can do almost anything with in post. So these are really great for commercials, narrative work where you really want to have the best image that you can get. They're shooting 4K, 5K natively. I mean, they can shoot lower, but like that's what they shoot at. And at also high ISOs. The C100, for example, is recording MPEG. It's not 10-bit, it's not 422. It works great for our uses, but if we were doing special effect shots or really high-end shot, I would bring in a Red or the Ursa or other cameras in this category. So live camera, ready to go out of the box. Studio, more money, more time, more effort. Gonna take longer to get shots. You're talking about two different types of use cases. Now, this way of looking at cameras, compartmentalizing them, it's not the right way or the only way to look at them. It's just a way that happens to be based on price and also on certain distinct things about these sets of cameras, right? Like the C100 and 300 are distinct from the Red Epic and the Ursa Mini. And so there's no right or wrong use for them. It's what's going to work once the rubber meets the road. That is, you're on set, you're on location, you're shooting, and you need to get certain types of shots in a certain amount of time. And it also means there are cameras that bridge these gaps. I mean, the Panasonic GH5 shoots 4K in a DSLR format. It's an amazing camera. A lot of people love it. I'm not going into all these specific cameras. I'm just giving you these broad views of these types and this way to look at it, so you can now dig in a little bit deeper and research the cameras in that area based on your use. Are you going to be doing live? Are you going to be doing more narrative, filmmaking, studio, commercial type stuff? Are you going to be more playing around with DSLR cameras where you're going to do all kinds of different things, or you're going to want to have a combination of all of them? Whatever works for the types of video recording you're going to do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out pullmyfocus.tv for the companion articles that go along with our videos. We're also going to start adding some other kind of things like spec sheet comparisons and cheat sheets and stuff like that that some people have been asking us for. We also have video courses that we've been working on, and some of them are live. Others are going to be live soon. So don't forget to check those out. That's where we do a deep dive into one area. Current one is the one that Manu did on mastering audio, because that's something that guy is amazing at. That's why I've got him on my team, because I'm not great at the audio. Yeah, what are you gonna do? All right, thank you.